Welcome to Inner Voice of Knowing podcast. I'm Kaye, a shamanic leadership coach and healer, guiding you through life with a foot in both worlds. When you understand the terrain of the inner landscapes, the mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic, you will become the leader within your physical life, both personally and professionally. After all, the power of change is in your hands. Let's get this journey started. Welcome back to Inner Voice of Knowing. Let's talk abundance. So abundance is a very large quantity of something, a vastness. And it's also about having more than just what you need. It's something that flourishes, fulfills, is expansive. And most people think in terms of abundance, in terms of finances. But I invite you to take a look into each area of your life. For example, health and well-being, relationships, your intimate relationship, family, finances, business or your job, your profession, and even spirituality. Now, here's the thing. The spirituality must be fed, nourished, plugged into, and understood in order for these other areas to also flourish and grow in abundance. And here's why. The universe exists within you. And therefore you exist within the universe. So what is happening within you is then projected, as we've discussed previously, into your external world. The universe is vast, expansive, and the most abundant. So Source, if you will, is the most abundant creator, the most abundant that there is. Look what's been created in this world that we live in. Therefore, by your very nature, by the very fact of the being that you are, the spark of the divine source of the universe that exists within you, you are already abundant. But then here's the thing, that spider's web of illusion has become the intrusion by the false stories and beliefs, behaviors, emotions that come with this package of being a human being. So I want you to look in each area and ascertain how abundant you are. You'll know by looking at your life and what you have around you. But it's important to get really specific, because if you just function unaware, then you are not truly participating in becoming a conscious creator and crafter of your future. Once you become aware of something, then you have the power of choice and change, because you're aware of where you are right now. So rate from 1 to 10, 10 being the most abundant in each of those areas of your life. And be honest, and it's about where you are right now within your health and well-being, within your relationships, which incorporate your friendships, with family, with finances, with your professional life, spiritually, in every area of your life. Rate it and be very honest in the first thing that comes to mind. And remember, it's reflected in your world around you, in your bank account, in your relationships, in everything. How abundant do you feel from 1 to 10? And then once you've got that truth before you, and the truth within that you are already absolute abundance, and that everything on these lists that you're looking into now and you're measuring where you are right now, all of it is energy, because everything is energy. And it's vibrating at a particular rate that matches these areas of your life. It's in harmony with. So in order to expand your capacity for more, you need to tap into that truth, that abundance is flourishing within you. We just need to expand your capacity for more. The barricades that are stopping you from that truth, from living that fullness of that reality, of that experience, of that energy, is due to the limiting false stories and beliefs. So we've got to expand the containers, if you like, in these different areas. And it's all achieved the same way. First, by acknowledging what you're allowing, where you're resonating, which will begin to help you uncover what are the limiting thoughts, false stories, and beliefs around health and well-being, around relationships, around family, around finances, and your professional world, and around your spirituality. Because again, it's about uncovering, bringing into awareness, because then we have the power of choice and change. Now, here's also an interesting thing. Have a look at your environment around you. Do you have space around you within your home? Do you keep things tidy and clean and have a sense of beauty? Because what's happening in your home environment is also going to be reflective of what's happening within you. So I'm not talking about the size of your home. I'm just talking about, is it spacious? Does it feel beautiful for you? Is it inspirational? Does it feel safe? Is it nice and clean? Because it's reflecting back to you your energy, your values, and your internal space. The same as when it comes to financial abundance. Are you organized with your bank accounts? And what's in there is reflecting back to you. Are you organized within your wallet? Do you have a respectful, loving, committed relationship within all these areas? Because remember, it's all energy. What's your relationship to that energy? How is it flowing? How is it growing? Okay, so how to expand your capacity for more? You need to rewire, reframe those false stories and beliefs that you live by. Now, remember, they're really solid drivers within your life because they've been, through repetition, they've become strong over time because you've fed them and fed them and fed them. And then your external reality reflects it back to you to justify the truth of it. But that's when you're being an unconscious creator. Unconscious manifestation, stage 1. Life is happening to me. Therefore, I am a victim to certain circumstances. That's very disempowering. We need to move through to the second and then finally the third phase, which is then life is happening through me. And this is where we start to recognize the power of the mind. We really understand that subconscious, all those false stories and beliefs have basically been the driver, unconsciously driving our life, our choices, our actions, our reactions. So really aligning powerfully to a new mindset. And no, you're not going to believe it straight up, but repetition, 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 and choose words that hold power for you. Now, know your worth. Because a lot of people will say, but I don't feel worthy, I don't feel deserving. Remember this. You are soul and energy first. You are a divine spark of the source. And the universe exists within you. Therefore, you exist within the universe. So if you are soul, which you are, a divine spark of the whole of creation, of source, then, my friends, you were born worthy. You were born worthy. And let's call out anything that you have fed yourself, that you have taken on board, that says otherwise. So that's something that I call an anchor. So when a false story and belief comes up, and you know that in a dialogue that you tell yourself, I don't deserve it, I'm not good enough, whatever it might be, stop. As my guest Nicole had said, call bullshit on that. And this is why I call them false stories and beliefs, because I go, hold on a moment, that is a false story and belief. Feed more and more and more with the alignment of the new statement. And then spark up that feeling that we've talked about before. But here's something incredibly powerful. Remember that third aspect to the inner voice of knowing, power, and potential. Knowing is God or source, whatever word you choose to be comfortable with. Power is soul. Potential, remember, is your successful self. So that successful self is already in existence. It's an alternate reality, if you will. Now, it's all happening within that one building. Remember, you go to a movie theatre, there might be 8 or 9 movies playing, but you've just seated yourself in one. Okay, and there's no such thing as time. And you have the ability to access and communicate with that self that is already living with greater abundance in health and well-being, within relationships, within family, within finances, within your professional. And the spirituality is always the driver. So you really want to be nourishing that element, because it will continue to expand you and your capacity in all these other areas. It will expand all those containers. And remember, the universe is incredibly vast. So this is something that everybody can access, because every one of us has that worth. We are a divine spark of the source of all that there is, has been, and ever will be. This is where meditation is so powerful, so that you can access this. So imagine sitting and calling that future successful self, like sitting with a friend. Or imagine walking down some stairs where there's a door, and you open that door and in you step, and you get to be witness to a moment in time to observe your successful self. What is she doing? What is her posture like? Does she move with confidence? She or he? Okay. Does that future successful self speak confidently, positively, in terms of no limits? How is that self dressed? Does that self look happy? What is the energy presence of that future successful self, that future abundant self look like? I do this often for myself and also with my clients, in particular, working with entrepreneurs, building their businesses, elevating that cash flow, the clients, whatever it might be, and what they're doing, so that they can actually see and witness, bear witness to them already living that out. And then you can ask, what is it that I most need to know? What is it that I need to change in order to become you? Okay? Really powerful. Seeking wisdom from your successful self, the one that gave you that aspiration for that change, for creating that greater vastness or quantity, more than just what you believe and think that you need. Deeper relationships, advanced health and well-being, increased finances, being in a job or creating the business that you feel good showing up for every day. A loving, supportive partner. The love of family. And that can be soul family, not just birth family. And become familiar with that successful self's energy, presence, posture, speech, gaining that insight. And then every moment of every day, with every decision that you're making, is this expanding my capacity for more? Or is it contracting? When the bill comes in and you complain, is that contracting or expanding? If you're contracting it, you're in fear. You need to continually find ways to tap into that feeling, that frequency, that vibration of expanded abundance. Now, going back to the beginning where we're rating from 1 to 10, making that choice to focus, to also speak, to emulate, to become, to be that successful self. Remember, how did he or she speak? What body language did he or she have? What advice? So that you can put yourself into that vibrational frequency with the consistency of the application and the choice. Now, looking at each of those areas, asking yourself, how would I feel? And how would it change my life? And how would it impact others around me in a positive way if I had increased abundance in this particular area of my life? They're powerful questions to ask so that you get really clear on why you're making these expansive choices, why you're implementing these new behaviors and making new, more expansive, powerful choices, why you're choosing to change. Because if you stay the same, you're crafting the same. And you can't just change your mindset, you have to change your frequency to be in resonance with that which you aspire to. That's why the process of witnessing, observing, and then communicating with that already successful self is so important. Because you also become incredibly familiar with, because that energy of that person is you. It's like a new, the latest version of who you are. The updated, upgraded version of who you are. So when you do that and you experience that connection, that communication, that observation, it really instills the drive, the belief, the knowing, because that energy is of you. So it's familiar, it's in complete resonance, but at a new frequency. Let's look at it like this, the notes on a piano. Lower C, higher C, for how vast that keyboard goes, it's still a C note or a D note or an E note, whatever you like, but it's an octave up. So energetically, in mindset and emotionally, in action, in knowing, in energy, your frequency, your note is going up an octave. Now, that is going to bring about fear. And as I said in the podcast with Nicole Croucher as my guest, that fear is a signpost telling you you're heading in the right direction. Okay, and the subconscious, all those false stories and beliefs are designed to pull you back to perceived safety. But when you know that and you understand that, you can celebrate almost when it comes up because it's telling you you're on the right path. Then all those false stories and beliefs will come up and you can call them out and then plug in, turn the power on those new I am statements. And then every time you make a new choice, no matter how small it is, whether it's to wake up 15 minutes earlier because you choose to meditate or go for a power walk or exercise, whatever it might be, when you choose to change, regardless of how small it is, I want you to acknowledge yourself, to show appreciation for that act, that new act. Because the more that you do that, what you appreciate appreciates. So every time of a small success, a small change, you stop to acknowledge yourself. Hey, well done. You did great getting up 15 minutes earlier. Every time you honor yourself, guess what? You get a charge of energy. Your energy expands. You increase your frequency. But if you just do it and don't give yourself that moment to appreciate, to acknowledge, you'll take it for granted. So that's a really important process. And to appreciate something, it's like a deeply taking it into yourself. It's more powerful than a simple gratitude. Gratitude is great. But say the word. You know, I can be grateful that when I went to the shops the other week, the sales professional went above and beyond to really sort something out for me. I'm really grateful for that. But when I'm in deep appreciation, it's an energy that I feel taken into my heart. And remember, what you appreciate appreciates. So that moment of self-appreciation, of acknowledgement of that choice that you made feeds into every part of you. And then you're more inclined to make that choice again and again and again because you are moving into being that successful self. So yeah, does it get a little bit tough in terms of fears and the old that comes up? Yep, but remember, it's telling you you're in the right direction. You're going to snap that old elastic band and be pulled forward by that new. And expand. Don't tolerate the lack anymore. Because if you don't grow and expand your capacity and follow that guidance of the soul, that inner voice of knowing, you become stagnant. You become stagnant. And you didn't come here to be stagnant, to tolerate that lack. You are here to flow like a mighty river over and around your obstacles, knowing innately where you are going and the allowing by being in your natural state. That's what they call flow. The river flows. It has obstacles, but it flows over and around. And then trust. Trust that then everything that is before you is there to serve you, to continue to grow and expand your energy and therefore your abundance, to continue to flourish. So looking through different eyes at something that comes up. Nicole said it so beautifully. When all the doors kept opening, she was in flow from the previous episode. And then there was the challenge. It looked like it wasn't going to happen. And then that old belief of, almost, okay, see, it wasn't meant to be. And then the realization to go, no, hold on a moment. This is a test. This is here to serve me. This is something old. And the moment she aligned with that, the solution came. It all opened up again. And there she is in her incredible premises, that which she was aspiring to, her big leap. And it's about the daily application, the daily discipline to ignite, to change the mind, to reprogram, deal with the feelings that come up. And if you need, get support for that. There is also a process that you can do that you say, okay, where am I feeling this emotion in my body? Might be the chest, might be the throat, wherever it is. It's an energy, remember. You don't have to let the emotion take hold of you. You can direct the energy of that emotion so you can breathe into it. And then you're breathing that energy out. So you drop the jaw and you breathe it out. You're breathing in to tap into that blocked, trapped energy. You're dropping the jaw and you're breathing it out. Now that energy will start to move through your body. And you must stay with it because eventually it will lift and be gone. And then in that process, once that is lifted, that energy is free flowing again. It's not a stagnant, held on energy of emotion. And you have just expanded some more. So what do you rate in each area of your life? How is the world and your personal space around you set up? What is it reflecting back to you? How will expanding your capacity for more in any of these areas, how will it serve you? How will it feel? How will it affect those in a positive way around you? What will you do with that newfound abundance? Checking in, is this expanding my capacity for more? Is this contracting? Am I allowing myself to be in the back seat of the car while my subconscious false stories and beliefs drive? Or do I choose to call them out for what they are? Will I choose to go, oh my gosh, I've got fears now, but that's okay because that's telling me I'm heading in the right direction. I'll go to Kaye's website and download that free Defuse Your Fears 5-minute process. Have that conversation, bear witness to your successful self. Okay? And have that conversation and get familiar with that energy. Choose what you align to. Celebrate the acknowledgement and appreciation of each small new choice of change that you make. Feed that energy. And if need be, get support to help you navigate those terrains. You're moving up an octave. And when you get there, when it's achieved, it will actually feel familiar. Because you've already been in contact with it. You've just landed. You've done the journey. You've made all those changes and taken all those choices to make the change. So it will feel incredibly familiar when you achieve it. And be open to the magic of the universe, of the unseen world, and don't limit yourself in how things will unfold. You just make changes. So if it's health and well-being, well, yes, you can go to the gym, etc., etc. When it comes to new and more connected relationships to come into your life, or the finances, all of it, be open to how it unfolds. Be in a state of action, yet allowing. And remember, your spiritual practices, your spiritual principles are your key and can fast track your results. Success to you. I'll meet you on the next journey, the next episode. Bye. Join me on my next episode, and if you love this podcast, please subscribe by clicking on the plus button if you're on Apple, or like and follow on Spotify, rate and review, and please share Inner Voice of Knowing with your friends.